This is Live for Love TV. And subscribe. Live for Love TV.
Like, share, and subscribe. Live for Love TV. Oh.
Like, share, Live for Love TV.
Hey guys, you ever hear about Live for Love TV? I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Check it out. It's a bomb.
Welcome back to Live for Love TV. Today is the 12th day of the 11th month of the 21st year in the 21st century. Hope everyone's doing well out there. For those of you who are into numerology, you'll recognize that the date I just said only has ones and twos in it. So whoever knows anything about numerology, take that for what it is if you believe in it. Anyway, today we're going to talk a little bit about scamming. Yeah. And while my glasses are fluffing up, I can't even see anything. But anyway, today we're going to talk about scamming and why so many people who believe they've not been scammed believe that those who've been scammed deserve to be scammed and that they're idiots. Sometimes you find maybe a 70-year-old woman has been wooed on the internet by somebody who's about 20 years old or 25 years old. And they're telling that 70-year-old woman that she looks like Miss World and she's amazing for her age and stuff like that. And she, starts to believe in all of that and feels really good about it. And all of a sudden she's handing money over to this person and buying them trinkets and jewelry and stuff like that. Now, the rest of us who hear stories like that, which seem blatantly obvious to anybody who can look at it, is that we are looking at that person as they're completely idiotic or foolish. Very few people would call that other people idiotic. Very few people would call the idiot the scammer. It's usually the person who gets scammed that's an idiot. And I think that's unfair because all of us come from different circumstances and situations, and most people want their egos stroked, and most people want to feel good, and they're in certain stages of their life. And there's an old song say everybody's somebody's fool sometime. But the reason I bring it up is because scamming is worldwide. It goes on every day. It's just that some people don't recognize the scams that are going on. They only recognize these internet scams where somebody comes and says, "Oh, do this or do that," or put some money in here, or it's a what they call it. It's in Nigeria they call it a 419, and things like that. That's their name for scamming. But I'm thinking constantly when I go to insure my car, I've been scammed because I have to insure my car because it's mandatory. That is mandatory. There's no, oh, well, maybe you can insure it or not. I have to insure my car. And so I'm forced to go to, I don't know how many, 5 or 6 people who are underwriters, and the rest of them are just brokers. And they literally control the whole market. They force you to insure. And then they come up with these stuff like deductibles, like £500 deductible, £300 deductible, $200 deductible. It's basically saying if you have a crash and it comes up to this amount, you better pay out your own pocket as it's better for you. The problem with these deductibles that these people are dealing with is they know 90% of the crashes or the claims, should I say, of your car are going to be within the deductible range. There's almost no chance of them paying you out. You most of the time you decide to pay it yourself, because if you don't pay the deductible, then it costs $300 of your insurance. Next year, they put it up $600. So that's twice as much as what you paid for the little problem you had, they gave you for the little problem you had. That's a scam. That's an international scam on a massive scale. And of course, it's mandatory. So it's not like we've chosen, well, we have chosen, even if it's mandatory, you don't have to have a car. But it's not, for those who feel they need to have a car, we feel like, okay, this is how it goes. There's other scams. Let me give you another scam, for instance. JPS in Jamaica. Per capita, they're the highest paying electricity company in the world per capita. A third world country. Highest paying cost in electricity per capita in the world. And guess what they do in Jamaica, which is hilarious, if you're not paying it, is that you who pay your electric have to pay for those who steal electric. I'll say it again because I know some people are thinking I've lost my mind, but this is what happens. You who pay for using your electric legally pay for those who tap into the system illegally, and you have to pay for it. Now, they'll claim you don't pay the whole 100%. They take some of the cost, but you pay for it. You do pay for it, and the governments allow it. The government allows it. Now, how can anybody using electricity legally, let's say you use, I don't know, $100 a month, and let's say 20 of that US dollars that you're using out of $100 that you're paying for in $100 is coming from stolen electricity. Why are you paying for that? There should be no reason for you to pay for that. And it gives no incentive for them to go after the people who are stealing if they know they're going to get money. In fact, the incentive is for them to let people steal more and more and more so that their numbers go up. And then the people who have got the money to pay for it, pay for the whole thing. It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But it's a scam. It's a scam on an international scale. And because it's a scam on an international scale, people complain about it, but they don't say they're idiots. They'll say that a woman that got tricked by some 25-year-old brother is an idiot, but nobody will say that we're idiots, but we're idiots. All of us that pay these big company scams that is been going on for years, that they put on foolishness. I remember when I was working for utility companies many years ago, and we learned something about utility companies. What they would do was, let's say they know that the gas goes down. Your gas in the winter, in the summertime, you use very little gas. What they would do was they would put up the price not in the summertime, not when it's when you're going to be using a lot in the winter. So when that price goes up, you don't notice it because it's really gone up and you've hardly turned on your gas. You're not using any central heating, so you hardly notice it. Then 4, 5, 6 months later, winter comes around. Wow, your bills have gone through the roof. Now, when you try to complain, say, well, we haven't recently put up the gas. It hasn't been put up for months. It's earlier this year. So this is how they get away with it. They instantly say, well, they play like those football people when they've just fouled somebody and they go, what, ref? What? I don't know what you're talking about. That's exactly what they do with these utility companies. They do the same with water. They put up water at a time when they know you're going to use less water. Let's say in the winter, they put up the price in the winter. By summertime, parched, everybody needs more water. You need water for your car, to water your garden, water to this, water to that. All of a sudden, prices seem to have gone up. You haven't put it up recently. You don't know what to make of it. It just seems like prices just keep going up. And this is how these people get away with it. But to me, these are the real scammers to me, these kind of people, these kind of, because they've got think tanks on how to scam us as individuals and taxpayers and payers of this and payers of that. They've got, and you see the people who are really in the know how to get around these massive scammers because they're part of them. So they know how to, put their cars to all their companies and, pay one insurance now about 100 different cars and then probably rent them out to somebody or give them, they've got ways of getting around all of these things, taxes and everything. They know all the little tricks to get away because they're scammers and scammers and scammers. They're all scammers. But the little man, the ordinary man who goes to work, does his thing properly, as they say, pays his taxes, he's getting murdered daily. Financially, he's getting poorer and poorer and poorer. And most people who are of the 9 to 5, if you look at your real income, let's say when you're in your 50s and you went to work in your 20s, and your teens in your 20s, real income-wise, you were getting more money in your 20s than you are now in your 50s. It may sound like you're getting more, but you get less from it. Your pound is worth less. Your dollar is worth less. Your US, your Jamaican dollar, all of it is worth so much less that you're actually poorer 30 years later with a family, with mortgage, with all the things that go along with being an adult, a big man or a big woman, and you're actually poorer now than you were then. And that's because you've been scammed, because they've literally taken the money out of your pocket by devaluing it. That's a scam. Absolute scam. So when they say they put your money up, it may sound like it's gone up, but in real terms, it's gone down. This is the way these people operate, and this is why I say we need to call out not the victim of the scammer, but the scammer. Because when you start saying this old woman and this person shouldn't have got into this business deal with this person, and then got scammed, and these people got scammed, and then these are victims of scammers. The scammer is the one who's doing something wrong. Never forget that. The scammer is the one you need to point the finger at. You know, we can all be silly at times. We can all be, you know, misled at times. Sometimes we just don't know, you know, and sometimes, yes, somebody else may seem a little bit naive to fall for something, but being naive shouldn't be a crime. If someone is naive to some scammer, you shouldn't look at them as if they're a fool or an idiot. That's not a crime. The crime is the scammer who's sitting there behind their keyboard or behind their big company or whatever, and they're thinking of ways of taking money out of your pocket without offering anything back. And, you know, literally is the old time saying they're selling you a 6 for a 9. So I don't like scammers. I don't like being scammed. Nobody does. It's funny. It doesn't matter how much money you have. You know, you've got £1 million and you find out that somebody's charged you $25 for something that should cost $10. You go crazy. I don't care if you've got $1 million. Nobody likes being cheated and nobody likes being scammed. So let's call the scammers out. Don't care, not just the little man on the corner or the little man with his little BMW. There's international scammers. In fact, the big boys, the banks, all of these people. People are now will charge you all around the world in order to take your money, especially a lot of the countries around the world, they pay you to keep your money in your account. You have to pay them to keep your money in their account, and they take your money and they use it for God knows what out there, and they're still charging you in order to hold your money. I mean, that ain't a scam. I don't know what is. But anyway, take care. Live for Love back at you as soon as we can.
Share, subscribe, Live for Love TV. Awesome!
This is Live for Love TV. Live for Love TV. Yes, I am.
One step more. One step more. One step more. Until you reach your goals. One step more. Save them souls. One step more. One step more. How good it is to reach the
Live for Love TV. This is Live for Love TV.